Good afternoon. Today we are starting our meeting at 1:02 p.m. and I want to call the meeting to order for this. Oh, I forgot that. The best part, the gavel. Uh, Now call the April 19th, 2024 meeting of the Sustainability and Economic Vitality Committee to order. As expected, our committee covers topics related to sustainable initiatives and economic vitality of our great city. Note that there are no formal votes or decisions about the city programs, policies, or budgets that will happen here. Our role is to explore various topics with staff and stakeholders and community members and to make recommendations to our city council colleagues. We want this process to be transparent, inclusive, and easy for you to be part of wherever you choose to be. And you can share your thoughts with us by filling out a comment card about any item on our meeting agenda or by reaching out to us directly with any thoughts, questions, or ideas. The link to the comment cards can be found on our committee webpage at tempe.gov/SEV. And you'll find contact information for committee members and staff for non-agendized questions as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor Adams. The next item on our agenda is item number 2, review and approval of meeting minutes from the March meeting of the Sustainability and Economic Vitality Committee. If there are no objections, I move that we approve the minutes from the March 8th, 2024 meeting as written.
I have no objections and second that motion, so the March minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is item 3A, public comments. This committee welcomes public comments. According to the Arizona open meeting law, the committee may only discuss matters listed on the agenda. Matters brought up by the public under public comment that are not listed on the agenda cannot be discussed by the committee. A 3-minute limit per person is in effect. Brooke, do we have any comment cards or requests for speaking at this meeting?
There are no comment cards today, Vice Mayor Adams and Councilmember Chen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is item 4A, current items and updates. And today we have only one, item 4A1, an update from our Information Technology Department regarding fiber connectivity here in Tempe. Our very own IT Director, Jared Morris, is here to give us an update. Welcome, Jared.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Adams, as well as Councilmember Chen for the opportunity to speak today. You all may not recall, but I do, certainly. I think 6 months ago was my first time speaking before any committee of council, and it was this committee. And we were speaking about fiber last time, and we're speaking about it again. Those that are tuning into this meeting, this was the first time that the public got an update on fiber and what the plans around fiber were for the city, even before we brought it before the full council, and the same is happening today, where this is the first time the public will hear a lot that has been discussed already before city council. So in addition to say thank you, I also want to acknowledge that this work can't be done without a lot of help. So of course, the Assistant City Engineer, Julian Dresang, who joins us today as part of the audience, has been key in this work, as has Assistant City Attorney Sam Aerosmith and Lisette Camacho, who is the Director of Finance. None of this would be possible without their input. For those members of the public, you all already know this, but the point of bringing fiber to Tempe and what we're trying to do is guarantee an option for those that do not have an option, and to guarantee that we're going faster, we're getting better with Tempe fiber than what we've already developed before. We want to guarantee to every resident, as well as every business and every student as well, that they have this option in Tempe, as other Valley cities do. As far as performance measures go, there's many of them. I won't go through all of them, but I will say the one that we want to make sure that does not, where there become issues, are pavement quality index. Want to make sure that we maintain that high pavement quality while installing this additional fiber. So that's the one that I will come back to in this presentation. You all have already seen this plan before, but members of the public may have not. So the initial plan was developed in May 11th, and I'm happy to say we followed each of these items. So initially in summer 2023, an RFI was submitted. We received back information from the community that would be able to provide fiber services. And we had two general options. One was a municipal fiber where the city would own it, and then also a private fiber option. We returned in winter of 2023 with an updated plan, and there were some changes to our plan, good changes, I will say. So in particular, the first thing is that we dropped the whole step. We didn't want to have a review selection, and we wanted to broaden out the amount of people that could join with us and provide fiber to our residents. We went through that and selected that private fiber option because it would be quicker, less expensive for the city, and we thought that there would be a broader base of broader access to the public, more options to the public, and that's what we were looking for. We wanted to provide many people to be able to come in and provide options rather than the city doing it alone in a city option. And then the final step here that is part of the updated plan on March 7th, as can be seen, we of course are developing that license in this quarter, will be done. And also we have changed the construction from it being spring of 2025 to be as soon as we can get that license approval and people coming in and a permit done, that we would begin that construction. So we're starting that construction earlier, trying to get that access earlier than we would otherwise have done. There's three major items that I often hear when I've made this presentation. And one is, can you tell us some details about the license? I mentioned, Sam Arrowsmith and his work before. He's the one who is developing the license, and he's in the final stages of that. Again, this quarter, he will finalize that license. I can't answer every question, but what I can say is those valley cities, Mesa, Chandler, and other valley cities, we have a license structure that is very similar to them. It's a new license for us, but we want to do what is prototyped in other places, let other places take that initial hit and refine those details, and we can take advantage of some of the details that they have figured out. The same is true on the pavement quality side. These other valley cities have piloted new technologies for putting fiber in the ground. We hope that this will be less impactful for the city, but there's another item that we're doing on pavement quality, and that is we're pairing two initiatives together in the city. And other valley cities have not done this, but they of course could. And that is when we install the fiber, we're pairing it with our pavement quality project that is upcoming. So when we install the fiber, then we repave over it, and it resolves any possible pavement quality concerns that would happen with that installation. I think that part is really key.
Jared, I have to interrupt you. I worked on that for 20 years, so thank you. That's music to my ears.
Absolutely. That's why we're doing it. And I think something on the digital divide side is impacted by that as well, by your work as well. And that is, we have already aligned the pavement quality project, so our most needy areas are being paved first. And by pairing them together, that also means that our most needy areas that don't have access today to high speed anything, let alone fiber, that they will be getting that access first. So that's part of the plan as well. Two additional things on digital divide. Of course, there are two communities in the city of Tempe that qualify for federal BEAD funding, and we'll be paying close attention to those licenses and permits as they come through to remind those that install a fiber that they can get infrastructure dollars for that installation on those communities. But if that's not enough, if those builders say, hey, we don't want to go through that process, the city of Tempe will make available dollars that we receive as part of our right-of-way access fees for providing fiber in those areas. We want to make sure that everyone is guaranteed an option for high-speed access as part of this initiative. And so that was my brief presentation on Tempe Fiber. I think it's a really exciting opportunity that the city has to bring fiber again to our residents and students and businesses, and be able to make sure that we're keeping a pace with other valley cities and moving forward. Happy to hear any questions that there may be. Of course, I'm not Sam or Lisette. We have Julian here who may be able to answer some of the engineering questions, but that's the information I have for today.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions, Councilmember Chin?
I do. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Absolutely.
Just when you talked about construction,
Absolutely.
and it's aligned with pavement improvement, which is great. are we doing the shallow trenching method?
It's called a micro trenching, but exactly that trenching method. It's the one that's been piloted in Mesa as well as other valley cities.
Okay.
That has an effect on pavement quality, but with that pairing, we're confident that that effect will be mitigated.
Okay. The other question is, for many of our residents who may be hearing this, well, how soon? How soon will they have access roughly?
Absolutely. So I wish I could answer that magic question in detail, but what I will say is that this is the first announcement that the public and that industry have heard of this intention. And I know that from past discussions with industry, they're ready to move as they have been moving in Mesa as well as Chandler and other places. I know that, for example, our RFI, it's public information that Google responded to that RFI and are very interested in bringing fiber to the city of Tempe. The initial plan that we had was in spring of 2025. But we will be doing in advance of that pavement quality, which I'm going to ask Julian a question real quick. Sorry. When does the pavement start, the first day? In 2025.
We have active projects on our current budget, and then the acceleration is dependent on the bond
Approval.
election in November.
Yeah.
We're preparing for that.
So in 2025 is when we're looking at right now. But
Do you,
as soon as we
can
get,
you repeat what Julian said?
absolutely.
That's
Julian
important for the
mentioned
public.
That a couple things. Of course, the pavement quality initiative is dependent on the November bond election. The fiber initiative is not necessarily dependent on it, but being able to construct and pave those roads right after is really critical to make sure that pavement quality is not impacted. But absolutely, I want that. I know that this project has been 15 years in preparation, and the city's taken a couple attempts at this. This is not the first attempt. It will be the last attempt, though. We're going to get it done, and starting in 2025. The exact day I can't say at this point, but I'm really encouraged by the response that we've had from industry, and they're ready to go as soon as we have that license. They've been asking me, when is the city of Tempe going to do this license? So by the end of the quarter, we're going to get some people in to get that license filled out.
Just as this progresses, can you bring us an update when it's
Absolutely.
appropriate? Great.
Absolutely. As soon as we have that first license submission, when we have the license out on the street and we have our first licensee where they've applied, I will probably update in a Friday packet if that works for you all.
Great. Great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can you describe the trenching process?
Absolutely. So there's a couple different methods for trenching for fiber. The more traditional method is an open trench, which no one likes to see and is not typically done anymore. And then the more traditional method that I would say that the city of Tempe has used for many years for our infrastructure, both our own as well as industry coming in, is tunneling and boring. And that method goes under the right-of-way and is a method to preserve the right-of-way. Whereas the new method that has been piloted in other valley cities is called a microtrench. For those that are trying to get a visualization of what that means, for me, I'm not an engineer, but it looks like a very large circular saw that goes down the street, and then you put the fiber in right after, and then you cover it up. That method is a quick method. It's a good method. Some of the difficulties with it is after you have the first, second, third, and fourth cut into the street, it can cause possible engineering concerns. So that is why it's critical to do that repaving right after we do that construction. Again, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a construction expert. That's what I've heard from the experts, that additional step will maintain our pavement quality and allow it to be excellent. I think another way to maintain that pavement quality is the city of Tempe already has a moratorium on additional construction in the right-of-way after new pavement goes down, and so that will help as well.
Okay, thank you. And will this fiber be the entire city or just sections of the city?
Absolutely. Citywide fiber, and it's going to be in line with our pavement. So as that pavement gets rolled out, we have stages of year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4 of that pavement plan. And so that we're going to be really asking industry to come along with that plan. That's going to be part of the license. It's going to have a map and timelines and locations of where that fiber can go in.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, Councilmember Chin? Okay, thank you, Jared. Excellent
Absolutely.
presentation. We
Thank you.
really appreciate the update. We might want to have you come back too.
I would love to.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to item 4B, new items for consideration. I believe we have one new item, 4B1, presentation proposals for future council committee meetings. Councilmember Chin, do you have any updates you'd like to see at our next SEV committee meeting?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Vice Mayor Adams. So it ties into my announcement. When we get there, I'll elaborate a bit more. But a couple of Dr. Deborah Salon at ASU, along with a few colleagues, received a grant to conduct some research about bicycling in Tempe. And it seems to be a very interesting research project, and I wonder if we can look into inviting them to bring a synopsis of what they were able to find. I think it ties in with a lot of what we're doing in the city.
Thank you, Councilmember Chin. I'll be sure to add that to a future agenda item.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chin. It's a great idea. I do have one announcement today. It's Arbor Day on Friday, April 26th, and I want to give you a little history lesson today. In 1872, a man named J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees. This holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska and is now celebrated all over the world. That was motivated by the dust storms of the 1800s. So that's my little announcement today. And then we do have to celebrate our urban forester, Richard Adkins, along with our sustainability team, has planted a tree planting celebration at Rotary Park. So join us next Friday morning at 8:15 a.m. in Rotary Park to help us plant 10 trees in honor of Arbor Day. Council Member Chin, do you have any announcements today?
I do. Well, in addition to being the date for our SEV meeting today, I personally celebrate the birth of Keith Burke, one of our deputy city managers. So this announcement has to do with what the item that I suggested for an upcoming meeting. It is a multimedia and interactive experience that shares the research conducted by Dr. Salon and her colleagues. This will be held on Monday, April 29th at the Walton Center on the corner of Rule and University, the southwest corner of Rule and University, the Walton Center for Planetary Health. And there are 2 showings, 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., where you can attend. And there is a QR code, I believe, yes, on the slide, and it will be up on my social media accounts, Tempe Arlene Chin, and you can find information there. But it seems very interesting. I had a conversation with Dr. Salon to hear a little bit about it, and a couple of staff members have already attended one of the sessions, but it's bicycling and how, from the perspective of Tempe residents, which I think is an important perspective.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
But
sounds great.
That is the only announcement.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Our next council committee meeting is scheduled for Friday, May 17th, 2024. Thank you all for being here today, both virtually and in person. And with that, we are adjourned, and it is 1:22.